All right, how this multi-million dollar game is shutting down 1 year later from Big Fry TV.
To add on to the e-waste graveyard landfill of games that
Mm,
release and shut down within a year or a year and a
damn.
half, we have yet
Bro, you know what new video games like this remind me of? With the whole day one, it's dog shit, and then a year later, it is completely a graveyard. They remind me of restaurants. A lot of the times when like a new restaurant gets opened up anywhere, the make or break year is year one. That's what some of these games feel like. If they can survive past a year, then great. But if they can't, they're pretty much dead.
another game being tossed on top of the pile like a garnish of shit on a decaying corpse. A game that I'm guaranteeing a large portion of my comments are going to say, oh, their advertisements sucked, bro. I haven't even heard of this game. A game that's been touted by some gamers as a budget version of Shatterline, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that catastrophe, take a
I have heard of Shadowline, but I fucking forgot what the fuck it was. And if this is budget that, then this ain't gonna be too great either.
look at my last couple of videos on that saga. A game that launched on September 7th, 2023, and is now shutting down a year to the day on September 7th, 2024. And of course, I'm talking about the game you probably never heard of called Synced Off Planet.
Synced off planet or synced up planet?
Is or was or is for a little bit longer a futuristic free-to-play co-op shooter developed by Next Studios and published by Level Infinite. You can deploy with your squad or fight alone with your tamed nanos, which are basically robots that fight for you in these PvE and PvP engagements.
So it's like Helldivers. It's different Helldivers.
You venture into the collapsed world for intense, again, PvE and PvP. It was a PvPvE extraction shooter with, looter shooter elements and these tamed nano robots that do the fighting for you.
Okay, it's Helldivers, but with more progression, and it's more pain in the dick. Okay, I could have told you this game is gonna be fucking dog shit.
Or at least help you and assist you in combat against other players. I played it last year. I dropped a video on it, and I actually thought the game was pretty decent, albeit as generic as they come in terms of the setting, that extra, sci-fi aesthetic. It looks like a game spawned out of the mind of whoever created Shatterline and all of these other, you could fucking throw Warframe into it. You could look at the game.
What? I mean, I guess if like I would like to think Warframe is kind of like unique looking. The thing that gives Warframe away is the damn movement of the character. Outside of that, Warframe is kind of generic looking.
Game and say, this looks like about 10 other games that I've seen released in the last 5 years, but the game was actually pretty fun. You had a bunch of different characters that were called runners in the game. You had a large open world with a bunch of different objectives. You could customize, your loadout, your combat, your nanos, your character itself. Everything was actually very well done for this game, but it just couldn't manage to find a player base. The game launched and had an all-time.
Well, if it's another fucking like co-op PvP, PvE, like looter shooter kind of extraction type of deal, I mean, we're fucking swimming in those right now, dude. We're and like this released like what before Helldivers, and before this you got like some Division bros in there. You have what else? You got the Destiny bros in there. You got like what else? There's a ton of other like looter shooters that people are playing, dude.
Time peak on Steam at about 10,000 players.
It's even worse because I don't even know. Is this like a live server, free to play, like live service thing? Because, if it's free to play, well, then you're also competing with all the free to play shit too. You're competing against Apex, Counter Strike, Warzone, Overwatch. and all the little diet versions of those games as well. So good luck.
And as of, the last 24 hours of recording this video, it's sitting at 22, which is like
synced. Oh my god. Bro, I wonder who has more, Suicide Squad or synced.
A 99.9% drop. Usually a metric for a lot of people when it comes to like saying a game is dead is anything under about 750 to 800 players. If you're seeing
Really?
about 500 players playing a game, a lot of gamers are going to look at that and be like, dead, that game is dead, it's going to die.
Yeah.
This game hasn't seen over 1,000 players since a month after launch, which was October of last year.
I mean, for what I think qualifies a game as dead, like besides the obvious like 0, I mean, shit, dude, like 500 people, like if that's like I would like to know the general consensus. I mean, he just said like 500 or maybe like under 1,000, it's like pretty dead, but like that's comparing it to like what, AAA? I mean, you got like, if you look at like the Steam, like the top 10 Steam games, it's like number 1 is fucking Counter-Strike at like damn near 1 million. And then everything else is like 600,000, 300,000, 200,000, 100,000. And then, yeah.
It's been pretty fucking brutal. Now there's been peaks here and there that have reached 900, 600, but the average player base as of November of last year was around 430 players. Like the game was struggling pretty much from the jump. And much like Shatterline and the whole saga that's been going on there, when a game is struggling that bad to probably even turn a profit, let alone just grab players in general, you got to do what you got to do. In Shatterline's case, they decided to pivot towards crypto. In Sync's case, they just decided to shut down altogether. Now, for those who don't know who Next Studio is, they're a subsidiary developer under Tencent, which means like at the end of the day, if Tencent isn't making money, they ain't spending money. They're not going to host the servers. They're not going to keep that staff on. I mean, maybe these guys, like, I don't know if the studio's shutting down, but this IP in this video game has been closed. And like, I got to say, this is probably one of the coldest like posts. Usually you get the developers going, oh, we appreciate all of your support. Unfortunately, like, things happen and like, we love you guys. We want you to no, nothing here, dude. Notice of termination of Synced. This feels like we're all being fired here.
I've never played a game and gotten this. Thanks so much for playing Synced and being a valued member of its community, but we regret to inform you that the game will be retired this September. Termination schedule. Bang, bang, bang. You will still be able to enjoy the game and use any existing in-game items until termination date. Wow. And then they're just shutting the game off. They're hitting the switch. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need any more PvEVP or PvPvE games. I don't know. They just seemingly they don't work. They either don't work or where there's already too much of it. People are already invested in their favorite looter shooter. I mean, he mentioned Warframe. I'm playing Warframe right now.
Thanks so much for playing Synced and being a valued member of its community, but we regret to inform you that the game will be retired this September. Termination schedule. And then we have the dates. So September 8th, it's actually shutting down. It does say September 9th. There's obviously different time zones. You'll still be able to enjoy the game and use any existing in-game items until the termination date. Oh yeah, by the way, on July 9th, so after this video's gone out, the registration of new game accounts and in-app purchases will be disabled, meaning if you haven't played Synced, you're fucked. But if you are playing Synced, all 22 of you,
And then what? This is seemingly competing against Warframe and all the other looter shooters / free-to-plays. Yeah, this shit ain't anything, dude. This is fucking ass.
will still be able to play the game until your heart's content. But what's weird is it does say at 11 o'clock on the termination date, you'll no longer be able to download and or enjoy the game, but a registration of a new game account, you can't play. So you can download the game, but you can't make an account So that's where we're at. Then they go into things like data retention. So they talk about like where required or permitted under applicable law. Like this just screams lawyer speak. And then it says like your rights, like as set out in your privacy policy, we have certain rights to retention of personal data, blah, 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 blah. Contact and complaints. We appreciate you may have questions or comments regarding the notice of termination and what it means for you as a player. And then it's just like for questions relating to your personal data, please reach out to DPO _ and then they give the email there. Like it reads like a terms of service contract. There's no love. There's no passion. There's nothing. I think this is something that Tencent might have sent down the list and the developers just couldn't say anything about it. I don't know.
Yeah, like just me looking at the game, there's no like theme. There's nothing special about the game that like, this could literally be the scene of any fucking game. And I wouldn't know. This is just like generic bullshit to me.
But I'm not reading an ounce of like regret, passion, or anything like that. But the thing about it is there should be. Because the people who did play it, I mean, fuck me, it peaked at 10,000 players at launch. Did any of them pay money in this free-to-play game to buy some cosmetics?
Yeah. So it is free-to-play. Okay, well then it's competing against all the other free-to-play shit.
It doesn't matter. You're not even like there wasn't even a mention of reef.
I think there's already like total saturation in terms of people that are willing to play free-to-play games. If I would guess, I would say if you play a video game and you play a free-to-play game, you're only playing one. You're not like, maybe you could play two, but other than that, you're not playing anything more than one, really. And when people already have their number one free-to-play game, you got to come out swinging, man. Like, you got to come out with the features. Like, this is just not it. This is just generic bullshit.
Funds in this post. So you're not getting any money back. The game shut down literally a year to the day after launch. This is happening more and more frequently. Have you got?
And that's gotta suck for those people that paid money for cosmetics. It's like, oh, that digital product that you bought, it doesn't exist anymore because we're shutting the game down. Like, that fucking sucks, man.
You guys noticed that I've been covering these situations more and more frequently? It's kind of getting ridiculous. A user on the Steam Community Hub, I agree with him. He says, moral of the story, don't make online-only games. Now the game you spent all those hours coding is a big pile of e-waste. You will never get that time back, and the players don't get their time or their money back either. Online-only is a lose-lose situation.
Damn, this guy is spitting right now. And the whole online-only thing, that's a good point. I think one of the best implementations of offline and online is Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter Worlds and Iceborne. Like, you can play that game entirely offline solo, or if you need help, you can fire up a flare, go online, and get some people to come help you out. I think that's like one of the best things that Monster Hunter has going for it. Like, you could do an entire quest by yourself and be perfect. You can play that entire game by yourself and be completely fine. Like, this only online bullshit, this just does not seem like the move, man.
And it's honestly the truth. Usually in these situations, I'm sitting here saying, like, unless you have a good marketing budget, you have the player base to like go into this and like you push this game to the masses, you are pretty much fucked in the online space. Unless you have, you know, a video that ends up going viral, you have a game like Chained Together or Only Up, where a bunch of creators just kind of latch onto it. It's a cheap price and then it skyrockets, right? It's very rare that you make it in this online only space. But here's the thing, guys. This was backed by Tencent, like one of the largest companies on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even make it out to the masses. Now, the video that I did last year was sponsored. They literally just wanted people to play the game, try it out, show it to their audience. Which
I don't know. This like the gameplay doesn't look that compelling either.
Means they did some advertising at launch. Did you guys?
You know what this looks like? This looks like PUBG with like magic and weird jackets.
I see any sort of advertising at all about this game, whether you're browsing Reddit or Twitter. You did, like, literally as me a year ago, somebody brought it up to me in my stream, and they were just like, yo, have you heard of this game? And we watched the trailer together and was like, I didn't even know this was out. And that's coming from somebody whose job it is to know when video games are coming out, especially in like this PvPvE, like extraction shooter space. I didn't even fucking know the game released. I didn't even know it existed. It's
Maybe it really was the marketing. I mean, because I didn't even know this fucking game existed either.
screams to me like it's some sort of fucking write-off. Like they just, like they put people onto a studio, built the game just to write it off. Like it makes no sense to me. Why?
You know what else is kind of funny? The game devs that worked on this is going to be on their resume when they go to apply somewhere else. Yeah, I worked on Synced. What's that? You know, it peaked at like 40, 50K, and then it just trickled down into like nothingness. Oh, okay.
Why this continues to happen? Because the truth is, when it comes to multiplayer shooters, the scene is so saturated. It is so saturated with games that like you have to pick and choose where you're putting your time. A lot of people are working, sometimes working 2 jobs. They only have a limited amount of time to play. Why would they invest their time in a...
It's so saturated, but I think the saturation is good for the consumer and not good for the developer. I think it's really hard to innovate in this area of just under the umbrella of shooters alone, period. I mean, it's great. You have so many choices to choose from if you're a player. It's awesome. It's a buyer's market for shooters. It's just, the thing is that a lot of these games just, there's not that extra little, I don't know, something. It's like we're swimming in all these shooters, but a lot of them are just plain shit. We're swimming, but we're swimming in shit. There's a couple good ones. You know, I could easily like name a category of each shooter, and then you could easily name like, this is my game that I play. Like if I say free to play shooter, I could say like Overwatch, Halo, Call of Duty Warzone, or multiplayer, Fortnite, Apex, Counter-Strike, Valorant. I could name any one of those games, and someone's gonna like raise their hand like, oh, that one's mine. I love that one. And then I say Synced, and there's literally no one raising their hand, dude.
New IP. Why would they invest their time in a niche game like this? Why would they invest their time in a game that, you know, all signs written on the walls a month after launch, you knew the game was shutting down? It just makes no fucking sense why these games continue to be churned out by these large companies with no marketing, no advertising. And it's like they looked around, they're like, sci-fi's hitting. Hey, Shatterline's getting a lot of coverage. Let's do that. And they just threw money.
Oh, this is actually like the first unique thing I've seen. You just jump into like a glider suit and you just go
at it just to lose. It makes no sense. Let me know in the comments down below, have you guys heard of Synced? Did you even know this game existed?
Nope.
And also let me know if this is something that you'd actually be interested in, or if you would have tried out at the very least.
Probably not.
Had you known that it existed. Because I'm going to venture to say that a lot of you who are watching this video never even heard of this game.
I never even heard of that fucking game
at all. My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching, and rest in peace to another one.
Rest in piss. It won't be missed.
I'll see you on the next one.
Damn, that outro goes hard. Jesus. But, bro, it was a multi-million-dollar game. What the hell? Bro, that's crazy. And look at this. Project L33T's launch has even gotten worse. I don't even know what that... It looks like a shooter. 75, peak at 185, early access. What was this? First Descendant? That's another like shooty looty game or whatever. It's like, bro, we're just there's just so much looter shooter dog shit. There's so much. There's too much. Man. I don't know what's going to happen for shooting games, man. You know, with all these games coming out, you would think, and all the games failing, it would seem like if you were to ask somebody like a shooting game like person, it's like, do you play any like looter shooters? And they're probably not gonna name like any of these games at all. Like, are we nearing like an FPS bubble? Like it's about to burst, and then for the next couple years, there's gonna be no FPS games coming out. Is that what we're nearing? Because it seems like it, dude. So many companies are trying to get in on this free-to-play looter shooter, always online progression bullshit. And then a year later, the game's dead, and then that company or whatever, that person is gonna have it in their mind. Oh, this model of this genre completely sucks. So I think we're coming up on like a bubble of this type of game, and if it hasn't burst yet, it's about to. Oh man, but overall, cool video. I had no idea this game existed, and now it's dead. So whatever. But that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.